Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, I'll be taking you through the importance of engineering innovation and product development to the economy. So this video is a part of a video series which is aimed at design engineering aspirants to develop the awareness about the industry and the design engineering role. So first let's start with the industries which are there in the economy. So this is the most basic model of an economy. There are four types of industries which are there in an economy: primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary industries. So the primary industries are the ones which are in mining, farming, fishing, the most fundamental types of industries, the most primitive, we can say, the types of industries which are required for any economy. Then secondary are the manufacturing, constructions and utilities. So basically they require the raw materials produced in the primary industry to create the products which are to be used by the population. And then there are tertiary industries, which are basically the service industry. So the retail, financial, tourism, IT services, hospitality. So these are all industries which work on services rather than mostly products. And then there is a new industry type which is very prevalent today, which is the knowledge economy. So knowledge services, IT products, R&D. So this is a different type of a service which is industry on its own. So any large nation or country with a large population will have these three sectors of industries: primary, secondary and tertiary, and may or may not have the quaternary or the knowledge economy depending on the advancement of the population or the education of the population in the country. However, in all of these industries, the main underlying function of any industry is to add value. Value addition in the form of products or in the form of services. For example, if you take farming, the main value addition which they do is put food on the table. So they are adding value to people's lives. And then if you take manufacturing of devices, let's say we use the devices every day like computers, washing machines, refrigerators. Those manufacturing facilities adding value to people's lives by giving them access to these appliances. Similarly, tertiary industries like services, retail, financial, they give us services which makes our life better. So the main is value addition. How do we add value to people's lives through products and services? That's what industries do. So basically economic development happens through value addition through products and services. And hence one important metric in the evaluation of an economy in its growth is the gross value added. So how much value is being added to people's lives through products and services. So that is a measure for the economic development. Of course, this is a very simplified version. I'm not an economist, I'm an engineer. But this is my understanding of how the economy works and how this value addition through products and services then percolates into the engineering domain. So the value is being added to the economy through the sales of products and services. So the more and more products are being sold, the more and more services which are being sold, the more value will be added. And for developing new products or improving the existing ones, you require innovation. So the most value which is added in the economy is through innovation of products and services. And that drive to innovate will basically arise from problems which people are facing. So let's say a bunch of people are facing a common problem and you want to develop a solution for that. Hence you develop a solution in the form of a product and it solves a problem for a large group of people at a very large scale. And hence value is being added and that is directly affecting the economy. A good example are the various IT companies, which we see, the big IT companies, the Facebook, Google's, the Amazon. They have solved a problem, a specific problem for people at a very large scale. For example, Google solves the problem of access of knowledge or access of information. So before Google, people didn't have access to information. Of course, there were other search engines, but it was not as good as Google. So Google brought in a system in which a lot of people who can access a lot of information across the internet. So that was a problem which Google solved and is solving, and hence it developed more and more products and services as it went along. Similar is the case with the other big companies. So solving problems of a large group of people at a high scale will develop to a lot of value being added. So it is clear that innovation is what brings a lot of value, and that is through solving problems for a lot of people. So then how do you solve problems for a lot of people at a large scale? And that is where engineering comes in. So engineering solutions allow you to solve problems, because basically engineering is solving problems. You design a bridge because you had a problem of moving from point A to point B across the river. That's why you designed a bridge. And if you designed a car to move from point A to point B, it solved a problem. So engineering is the base for solving problems. So that's why engineering innovation comes in. And engineering innovation takes place in either of the two ways, through software or through hardware. Of course, before it was all hardware. Now, because of the software boom, software has grown rapidly. So software products and hardware products. Hardware products include everything which we use physically in our day-to-day lives. All devices, tools, systems, all are hardware. The computer, the washing machine, the printer, all of these are hardware and which is developed to solve a problem or a range of problems for a group of people. And then there is of course software, products and services, apps, software as a service, etc., etc. So all of these are products which have been developed to solve problems for a group of people or for a huge population. And the process of developing a solution, or engineering solution, is called as the product development process. So that product development process, there are two main ingredients for that. One is talent and the other one is resources. The most important is of course talent. You need engineering or product development talent to develop these systems, these hardware or software systems. So engineering talent is critical. And then second is of course resources. Without money, without the available infrastructure, of course you cannot develop the product. So it all comes down to the engineering talent and the availability of resources. So if we are having the engineering talent and if we are having the available resources, then we can develop the products and we can add value through innovation and hence advance the economic state of the country. So that's the connection between talent and the economy. So then what kind of talent is required for innovation? So these three words can describe it in a very short and summarized manner: creative, rigorous, and practical. So engineers, of course, it will be a team of engineers. A single engineer cannot develop products and systems which are as complex as vehicles or aeroplanes, etc. So you need a team of engineers or managers or designers who are creative, who are rigorous, and who are practical. Creative, to develop new types of ideas which are unexplored. Rigorous, to follow the scientific method and scientific methodology of testing and experimenting to evaluate hypotheses, and be practical and feasible, or develop feasible solutions and be practical in their approach. So these three are the keywords for any talent for innovation. It has to be creative, it has to be rigorous and scientifically proven, and it has to be practical so that it solves actual useful problems for a group of people or a population. So designers, engineers, managers who work in an organizational setup or teams, or maybe they can work independently to meet this end. And that's how the startups and the organizational teams are formed for product development. So you have a bunch of people who are really talented and they work on developing products. So basically a team of problem solvers who utilize the existing resources which are available to them to develop a scalable solution or plan, which would be called as an engineering design, and which put into motion, or which when implemented would solve a problem at scale for a large number of people or a population of people. Hence, engineering knowledge and skills which are focused on product development will have a direct influence on the innovation of the products, and hence they will create huge amounts of value and develop the economy. So that's the connection between the engineering talent and the economic development. So if we just summarize it, there will be an industrial need which will need a product innovation, and that product innovation will be carried out through engineering design and implementation, and hence that will lead to the value addition. So this is the way in which it works. There is a need and it is solved using innovation, and that innovation is brought about through engineering design, and that leads to value addition. Here are a list of benefits of new product development and innovation to the economy. The first one and the most evident one is that product development opens up a lot more opportunities and it creates a lot of jobs. Because when product development happens, first initially it starts with only the design team who just ideate and develop an idea of a product. But when it starts to go into the whole product development process, there is a design phase where the design engineers are involved, and there is a validation phase where the validation people are involved, the testing, the experimentation, then the analysis, and then the production. When the product is gone into production, then that it requires a whole factory, an infrastructure is required, the production personnel are required, technicians and everybody are required to actually manufacture the products. So because of a new product idea, a lot of jobs have been created down the line. So that's a very big benefit. So as new products are being developed, there will always be new opportunities and new jobs being created in the economy. Next is it creates brand value for the economy, and of course it leads to exports. So the more and more products which we develop indigenously, the more we can export outside the country. And also it creates a brand value. It creates a brand of that nation or the economy which is responsible for exporting those products. Next, it creates intellectual property. So when you're doing innovation, you're basically developing a new way of solving a problem. So novelty leads to patents, new designs, and this intellectual property basically upgrades the knowledge level of all of the industries. So new ways of solving problems, new processes, new systems. So all of these can be cross-deployed across industries for different products. Hence, it upgrades the knowledge level of all the industries. Next, along with creating manufacturing jobs, product development also creates tertiary jobs in IT. So tertiary jobs are which aid the manufacturing sectors or the primary sectors, and these are created as a result of the product development which is happening. A very good example of this is the automotive industry, how it developed in India. So before there was of course very small automotive industry, but as new and new products got developed, there was a lot of intellectual property which was created, lot of new opportunities and new jobs, new high quality jobs were created, and that increased the brand value of the country of India in the eyes of the world, and hence increased the exports of the vehicles and the various products which were being created by the automotive industry. So that is a connection between engineering knowledge and skills, how it leads to innovation, how that innovation leads to product development, and how that leads to the value addition to the economy. So this video I specifically wanted to create because I see that a lot of design engineers and engineering students do not appreciate this fact and do not understand the importance of the product development process and how basically a design engineer or any type of engineer will fit in into the larger scheme of things. So this is just an attempt to increase the awareness on the industry and the larger picture of the product development and where engineers fit in into the larger scheme of things.